1 year ago today, I was going about my work and in the middle of a fairly busy day and began to get a headache in the afternoon. It was really innocuous, and but from that point, just started to feel a little off, a little ill, just low on energy, and maybe like a flu was coming on. Anyway, it developed over the next few days, and it just felt like I had a flu. Um, and after a week or two, I found that there was a slight improvement, but not much. It had sapped all my energy. I felt headachy, a bit dizzy, just really unwell. After 2 or 3 weeks, I maybe felt a slight improvement. I was starting to walk my dog and even jog a few sections of it. Um, but then, as I started to feel a little bit better and was a little bit more active, I found my energy and my wellness just crashing back down. And ultimately, I was in a state where I really struggled just to walk up and down the street, um, and at times very hard just to move around the house. And I got stuck in this state eventually for 6 months, um, in a state of just headaches, lack of energy. I could do a little bit around the house. Um, if I rested for 2 or 3 days and did almost no movement and just was kind of on the sofa, I could charge myself up and have enough energy to socialize. So often it would seem that I was kind of doing okay. But if I did a little bit more than usual, I often found that I crashed and I would pay for it for the next 2 days. I was sleeping every night for at least 9.5 hours and not feeling rested. Um, I was able to work from home. I worked reduced hours, but I was still needing to take a nap most lunchtimes, and found that I was really ill. Um, I had loads of medical tests, so many blood tests. I had uh, tests for Addison's disease, scans, x-rays, all sorts, and nothing was found physically or observably wrong with me. So eventually I was put on the pathway for the chronic fatigue clinic, and everything I was experiencing was very much in line with that. Had moments where over a couple of months I thought I was improving, did a little bit more, and then crashed back to being worse than ever. Anyway, in God's providence, a really good friend of mine had actually been through almost an identical experience years before, and told me about some coaching that he went through called the lightning process. And he described himself as basically being bedridden for 6 months, and going on this course and being really active within days. Had anyone else have told me about it, I don't think I'd have believed them. But I did my research and ultimately booked myself onto a lightning process course, and that was on the 8th of April, with a lady called Jenny Gilmore. And yeah, I wasn't getting any better. I was struggling to walk short distances. And before that, before I was ill, I was running marathons, ultra marathons. I was generally a pretty fit person. Um, I was a bit nervous about the course. It felt like there was a lot riding on it, but worked my way through the coaching, and learnt the skills and the tools that they teach you. And it was amazing. It was one of the most incredible things I've ever experienced in my life. After the first session, the first day, I finished the course and went straight outside and ran 5 kilometers without stopping. I genuinely had probably, yeah, I'd never done anything like that in the previous 6 months, and I couldn't believe it. I then went and picked my son up straight from school after that run, brought him back home, and we went on the trampoline together for 20 minutes, and I was able to outbounce him. The resurgence in my energy was just absolutely incredible. Second day of the course, went a little bit deeper into things, and I went on a cycle ride for an hour afterwards. Just amazing. And then after the third and final day, my unconditioned body, after basically being on the sofa for 6 months, couldn't hack any more exercise. But I had prior to that lost all my ability to or most of my ability to concentrate and focus. It was a mental thing as well as a physical thing. And I was able to jump straight back into my job and my work with my full focus. Absolutely amazing. Just one of the most radical things I've ever experienced. My life now, I exercise regularly. I lift weights twice a week. I will run or cycle 2 times a week. I'm very busy volunteering in my local church. I've got a full social life, pretty much. And I'm as well as I've ever been. Yeah, so much more that I could say. But I just wanted to mark this moment a year on, and also just to raise awareness. If you find yourself stuck with symptoms like mine, maybe something like chronic fatigue. For me, it was 6 months. For the lady who coached me, she had those symptoms for 12 years. So I want to encourage you that change is possible, wellness is possible. It's not your fault you are where you are, but I've come to realize that change is possible with the right support and the right tools. So I'd just encourage you, reach out to me. I'd be happy to put you in touch with what I know, and just hear your story and help if I can and point you in the right direction. Ultimately, I ended up having an appointment with the chronic fatigue occupational therapists that landed after my lightning process course, and I was able to meet with them and say, I'm completely better. I don't need any help, but I just wanted to tell you of my experiences. So maybe there's somebody who this could help, but also I just want to mark it and celebrate my health and wellness a year on.